This is Our View, brought to you by the proud members of the Washington Federation of State Employees. As the summer began, the issue of fair taxation, the funding of state services and workers, including state workers, came together in a perfect storm in front of the Seattle headquarters of a well-known tax avoider, Amazon. As budgets and services are cut, these huge corporations pay less on their profits than the average worker. While Amazon just represents this class of tax avoiders, the Amazon model is starting to get worldwide attention.
Well, we know that the state Senate is trying to divide working people all over Washington state by telling us we don't have enough money to pay for state services, and yet we have two of the richest people in the world living right here in our backyard. So we're out here today calling on Amazon to pay their fair share so we can fund essential state services.
The deal is that the state is suffering from a lack of funds. Can't even fund schools under a court indictment. And so the question is, where does money come from? And we're here because, like Willie Sutton, this is where the money is, and we need to get it out of corporations like Amazon and rich guys like Bezos to help fund the things that they use to make their corporations in terms of education and transportation. They owe it, and we're here to get it.
You can't hide.
We can see your greedy side.
SIS, you're okay.
We have such a regressive tax structure where you have big corporations don't pay their fair taxes, their fair share of taxes. It seems like all of the tax burden is on the working middle class, and we need that to stop. We need to come up with a plan where the state will tax the big corporations the same as they tax us, you know, and once they pay their fair share, I think the state will be out of this revenue debacle that they go through every session trying to fund the budget.
Treat your workers like you should.
SIS, you can't hide.
We can see your greedy side.
SIS, you're no good.
As you probably know, Washington State has the most regressive tax system in the country. But I think even around the country, there's more and more tax breaks for the rich. And I think part of the problem is that we're at war with the system, not just a bunch of corporations, not just a bunch of politicians, but a system that's only about making profits, that only succeeds if the rich get richer and the rest of us get poorer.
Kids need libraries. Kids need books. Schools need money.
Yeah, I mean, we hear that, governments all over the world are having a hard time fighting these large multinational corporations like Amazon and Google and trying to hold them accountable. So it's not just us here in Washington State, but we seem to be the epicenter of it.
This is why we've got to fight.
Living wages are our right.
That is why we've got to fight.
Okay, we have been organizing SIS, which is a security industry specialist company that is protecting all buildings at Amazon.
So if anyone wants to
we have been organizing for a clear path to form a union with the company. And one of the major issues that we have had, I don't know, Betty, if you want to take on the issue.
Oh, okay.
Well, one of the main issues that I faced was retaliation, and that was because this company is highly against the union, and it happened because I started getting involved with the union and started cutting my hours and taking me off the schedule, and then finally just taking me off completely. And that's how we got started, and that's what we are fighting against, as well as respect and pay raises and sick leave for the workers.
And even in the European Union, in their social pillar, which is still work in progress, they have said that they want to redefine what it means to be a worker in the new digital context. So what does that mean? These standards are universal, they are global, They apply to you whether you're in a legacy industry or a business that's been around a long time. They apply to Silicon Valley. They apply to Elon Musk. They apply to Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, by the way, he wouldn't know what ILO Convention 87 and 98 looks like. This man who is fated by the business world spends most of his time busting unions with workers who don't even get a living wage. And we're fighting him wherever he opens for business. And we have to change that business model. And that's what unions are doing. We're organizing, standing up for people, and trying to change their reality by ending the abuse that we see by these companies that think of themselves with glittering stars. But when it comes to their labor relations practices, they leave a hell of a lot to be desired.
Pay up, Bezos, 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 pay up.
For state employees, a major concern of the never-ending 2017 legislature was the ratification of their new 2-year contract. It took almost a shutdown of state services until approval came in the last hours of a special session. The contracts, however, represent a major victory for all the work Federation members put into it.
In the end, the contract was ratified by the legislature. There are many, many gains in the contract, both pay and benefits and many other language changes. It builds on what we lost during the recession and improves. And what it takes to do that, it takes hundreds of hours of member time at the table, but it takes thousands of hours of members' time away from the table. And that's really what got a good contract, was members really demonstrating to the legislature and to the governor that this matters, that public services matter, and that pay that will retain and recruit good staff really does make a difference. We went to 3 special sessions this year. That's fairly unusual. We had really hoped that it would finish in the regular session. If it had gone past, you would have seen state parks close, you would have seen shellfish beaches close, you would have seen just a tremendous impact on the state. Not only the workforce, but the impact on the public would have been huge. And we're hoping in the future that there's better bipartisan work so that we don't have to keep going to special sessions, that the work of the legislature can be completed in its normal period. In the end, you want to retain a skilled, experienced workforce. And the only way to do that is to pay people living wages. And during the recession, we went 7 years without pay increases. We're gradually improving, getting some of that back now. And that will result in keeping good quality staff in state government. And those folks will provide quality services.
Many Federation members joined the governor in what was called the Walk for Smart Health. Held during a recent lunch hour, Governor Jay Inslee was introduced by Federation Executive Director Greg Devereaux.
I want to thank everybody coming out on this beautiful afternoon. Your jobs in state government are critical, and this governor has a lot to do with you having your jobs. But your health is also important, and this governor cares tremendously about your health as well. His administration has negotiated with us incentives for the Smart Health program that are monetary incentives, and they're phenomenal for state employees. We appreciate that very much. We also, over the past 4 years, you've witnessed some of the political shenanigans that have gone on in this Capitol. This governor has not put up with them. He and the House have made sure that folks have living wages, have good benefits. He's gone to the mat both times, and we appreciate that tremendously. Let's give him a big hand for that. So, since the beginning of the Inslee administration, the governor got to see firsthand at the Oso landslide tragedy. He also at the Mount Vernon Bridge debacle, Western State Hospital, any number of things. He has stepped up himself and pushed his administrations to help solve those. problems, but he also saw the work, the incredible work of state workers, and he has expressed personally his appreciation many times for all of those efforts.
It is a joy to have worked with you and your representatives to try to create some incentive, because we know you're dedicated to your work, but we want you to be dedicated to yourselves and your families as well, and your health. Because your health is important to me personally, to make sure you stay healthy from a personal standpoint. But it's also important to your ability to do your jobs and serve the public, which is important to us as well. I got to tell you though, I'll mention one thing. I'm glad that we're fit enough to get a good budget to respect the workers in the state of Washington. I will tell you that this year. Thanks a lot. Have a good walk. Enjoy your time.
A public employee union in California was recently considering affiliating with AFSCME. President Lee Saunders traveled to the West Coast and took them a message of growing together in strength. Local 1 is now part of AFSCME.
I would urge everyone sitting in this room who's considering whether or not to affiliate with AFSCME that you do it. Because why? It grows our strength. It grows our power. Now notice I didn't say AFSCME's power or strength. I said ours, collectively. We're 160,000 strong in the state of California. Our members are the everyday heroes, providing public services across the country. And we're a public service union. You're the everyday hero. So doesn't it make sense to have a proud union? Local 1, understand the importance of coming together and growing its strength and growing its power and becoming a part of what I believe to be the most powerful union in this country. Going to Sacramento together, hand in hand, helping your contract negotiations, as a team, as partners, as equal partners. That's what this is all about. I'll tell you this, we'll be engaged in every single fight, and if we fight together, we will win more than we lose. I guarantee it. Right here in California. Are you willing to be a part of the greatest union on the face of the earth? Bringing Local 1 members and AFSCME members hand in hand, walking together, arm in arm, fighting privatization, fighting for better wages, fighting for retirement security. If we do this, we will win. And we've got an old saying in AFSCME, and that saying is simply this: when AFSCME fights, AFSCME wins. God bless you.
This has been Our View, brought to you by the members of the Washington Federation of State Employees. We remind you, when you accept a paycheck for your hard work, you don't give up your rights. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next month.